Thank you, everybody, for taking time today to attend this half-hour presentation. This is not, in the time allotted, we really don't have time for a huge deep dive, so we're going to go over some of the main features. I encourage you and welcome you to schedule a time if you'd like to do a more deep dive into some of the more inner workings of the software. You're more than willing to do so, but I think this forum today is really going to lend itself to just kind of a high-level overview. With that, why don't we go ahead and so, the obligatory, who is RACO? RACO was founded in 1988, and believe it or not, the founders and owners are still working in the same building today with us, and always part of our management team. We're headquarters in Cincinnati, Ohio, and as you know, we did a great job in the All-Star Game. I hope you all enjoyed our city. Other things that we are an integrator of handheld and wireless mobile solutions, and we will talk more about this later. We again, custom development and professional services. And we'll discuss later the GPS fleet tracking and asset tracking solution, as well as we have a yard management YMS solution that is well designed for the food industry. All right, so down to what we're getting into here. Today we're talking about mobile inventory management. And as Woody discussed in the beginning, initially designed for a field service type operation, mobile information, but we found out through the development of the application that it really suits itself for any kind of inventory or asset application. It just works that much better than a lot of things we've seen in the past. So basically what we have here is a web-based inventory asset solution, which is a hosted model, which is done as a software as a service. So again, our clients will be receiving a monthly invoice on this, and we think this is an attractive model going forward. The new RACO, the new interactive data viewing grid, allows complete control over the display and reporting of data using simple tables. We'll get a lot into this during the presentation. This interactive grid is very new technology, and it really allows you to really put together the data and display it in a way that becomes very useful to you. And we'll show some examples of that as we go forward. Again, we can also create static reports can be created to provide exactly what is needed for you to make your informed business decisions. And very, very important is in the mobile support is provided to run on nearly any internet-connected devices to capture transactions out in the field or in the warehouse. Okay, what makes a software so unique and whiz-bang? Well, a little history. In the past, software has been somewhat rigid. It basically said, here's how I do business, and most companies, in many cases, had to conform to how software is written. And that has been the way software has been for a very long time. Well, this software is basically completely tailorable for your application. What I mean by tailorable, and I'll show you examples here in a little bit, is that you have complete and total control over how the application runs, how the information is displayed to you, how the information is captured in a mobile application. Again, I will show examples. Primarily, you have control over everything of your item categories, your storage locations. You can define your process unique to you. You can use your own reason codes. You can use item data fields, allows you to utilize your existing nomenclature. The words that you know are the words you can use. You don't have to be a part number when you use unit. If you want to be a unit, you can be a unit. Software allows you to do so. Also, you can control which fields are presented to the user in each process, and I'll show you an example of that as we go forward. Again, we thought we'd throw out just an inventory 101. What is inventory? It's receiving, custom returns, putaways, moves, pick, ships, and physical counts, for the most part. And we'll show you examples of that as well. Woody, if you can give me the screen, maybe I can kind of get into the application. Now, I'm going to briefly apologize. I'm going to be showing my screen, but I've got to also get to my second monitor, and I hope I know how to do so. Because right now, everything's kind of on this second screen. Ha! Excellent. All right. So, Woody, just confirm. Can you see the USA company?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. All right, so for purpose of our discussion, I'm going to show you other examples of companies. We've created a company called the USA Company, okay? And the USA Company makes red, white, and blue widgets from red, white, and blue raw materials. So here in front of me is what we talked about as the interactive grid. So an interactive grid allows you to do a lot of really cool stuff, all right? So right now, this is your action history. And it kind of shows you of the activities that occurred today. As you can see, as I was getting prepared for our presentation, I was moving some transactions around. And this grid is really where a lot of the power comes from. It is unique enough that things can be done, like you can choose your own custom view. For instance, here, I've created my own view here, and I've stored the data in a way that I want to see it. I'm interested in seeing the lot number for the manufacturer. I'm interested in seeing information about the detail. And the software allows me to basically create a complete format, customize it for my needs, and save it and lock it down as one of many formats available. Another nice feature of the interactive grid is obviously you can choose date ranges. You can do auto refresh, as well as if you want to do things like I want to look specifically at an individual item. I'm going to look at my item numbers. You take it, drag it into this area here, and now everything's sorted by item number. And you can actually drill down into specifics about your item numbers. So again, part of the interactive grid is you can have a display information and have a hierarchy of the information based on how you define it in your needs. All right, so a few other things you have here is use your inventory view. So this tells you how much of what you have where. Okay? Standard information, again, all these are available for you to customize. They all are printable to a PDF. And then your detail view not only shows you what you have in inventory, but it breaks it down, again, by where it is in inventory. As you can see here, I have a few raw material warehouses where I keep my material. Here's my blue raw material, believe it or not, in the blue raw material warehouse. And as you can see phonetically, it kind of follows through. Again, with the interactive grid, if I want to go ahead and say, I want to see what's in my widget plant differently, it'll now display your 3 different facilities in the plant very quickly on that grid. And if one, two, you could save that, I simply go into this thing, file name, save it as whatever filter you want to save it as, and you can then share that with other people in your organization. Very powerful, very unique, and very new. This stuff is recently created. None of this stuff is old architect. It's all stuff being created since the last first of the year. And again, I choose a lot of my own views, and that way I can sort the data the way I want to see it. And again, you can choose whatever view you like, and there's many views available from the interactive grid. So, you know, the new interactive grid, again, allows you to do a lot of stuff and display it in the categories and fashion that you can find it most useful for your purposes. A couple other things to look at here is I'm looking at, in this case, a daily history. These are all the activities that take place. I have a particular view that I like. And what I do from there is any particular view at this particular level, I can come down here and I can print a PDF of the action history, and you can see very rapidly I can create reports that are customized for my needs. So a nice feature, again, obviously, is the ability to rapidly generate custom reports from the interactive grid. Again, I don't have it loaded in here, but it also gives you low summary alerts. I'll show you another application in a few minutes where we're actually utilizing this feature as well. So in the main tab, you end up with your inventory summary, which is how much did you have and where. And then the breakdown of detail is individually. And then low quantity alerts, and we discussed the action history. All right, so let's go to actions. These are things that take place in this particular manufacturing facility. And again, these things are specifically designed for you to mirror the actions, to be very reflective of your environment. Now, I'll show you a couple of company examples where actually these are really different. So in case of manufacturing plant, these arrows here are how things get in. These arrows here are how things get out. So this is how you add, this is how you subtract, and these here are the adjustments, the ability to basically move items around. The adjustment typically can be a plus or a minus, or the move is a zero net sum. You're just basically moving a group of items from locations, and I will show you some examples of this, both on the desktop and the mobile application. So again, in this particular company, how they receive in items is they receive in inventory, okay? They do customer returns. They also move things to finished goods. Now, currently today, the production is a two-step process. Right now, we have to move it to a machine, then take it out of inventory, then move it into finished goods. In the version coming out, there will be a production action, which will basically backflush inventory. So that basically it's just one single transaction. When you move it from production to finished goods, it does transaction for us. And that will be a new action, which is called just production. And that will be in this action tab right here. And you'll see some kind of button looks like this, which will be the tab required for production. Again, you know, they pick for orders, and this is how they move to finished goods inventory. And again, I'll show you an example of all these transactions to be done both on the desktop and on a mobile application. So let's show you a receiving application. So again, as we discussed, an receiving application allows us to design the application so that it receives items in the way we do as a business. In this case, I have a widget plant. Inside the widget plant, I have 3 different locations. I have a finished goods warehouse, the manufacturing floor, I have a raw materials warehouse. So right now, I'll receive goods into my raw materials warehouse. Okay? In this case, I have 3 different warehouses inside raw materials, which is my blue raw, my red raw, and my white raw, where I keep my raw materials based on my color content. In this case, I'm going to receive in red raw materials. Okay? And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and choose from the list. I am bringing in red raw materials. And it tells me, okay, when I bring in new materials, these are the processes that I must go through to accomplish a receipt. Because what I do here in my manufacturing plan is I track things by lot number. And I want to know who the vendor is and the PO number that's received in on. Okay? So in this case, my vendor is going to be X, Y, Z company. Okay? The lot, we like to use today's date, 07/15/2015, X, Y, Z, so you know who it is. And the PO number bringing in on is just going to be 005. Okay? Quantity I'm going to bring in this particular case, is going to be 200. If I have a note, I can do so. I go ahead and save the item. It tells me now quantity on hand 200. I can go out to my main transaction, look at that transaction, and see right here that transaction took place. Now, I'm going to flip over to a different company and show you the mobile application. So here is my standard smartphone. It's nothing but a Motorola TC55, and I have to do my password. I have an application on here already loaded, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into a different company. Okay, and that company here is called RACO Landscape. You can see this company is a little different than the other company. Its view of the inventory, because again, we're a landscape company, so we're talking about gravel, we're talking about trees, we're talking about mulch, all kinds of other things that they do. So this is designed specifically then for a landscape company. And the mobile application is designed to work in conjunction with the landscape company. And again, this is on an Android phone. It'll work on an iPhone or anything that is web-based that is connected. It can be the Wi-Fi or cellular. In many cases, it can be batch, but not in Android. So what I want to do is I'm going to do a simple move. Okay, and again, it's a little slower on the desktop than it is on the actual phone itself, so please bear with me. So here I am in my simple move. My landscape company has a couple different locations. They have a main yard and a remote yard. So what I'm going to do is I'll move things from the remote yard to an area from the remote yard. In the remote yard, I have 2 areas set up. One area is called bulk, the other area is called nursery. In this case, we're going to pull from the nursery area. And now I want to go and say, what am I choosing? Well, I want to choose a tree, and either I can type in up here the first letters, or I can scroll through here and choose one, or I can use a barcode scanner and scan barcodes. We made it available for pretty much anybody to use whatever method they deem most appropriate. Okay, in this case, we're going to move some material. Let's move some pine bark mulch. If you want to add a job number, you can, or not. It's up to you. If you want to add it for a job number, that you can do. And in landscaping business, status becomes very important. Status is something that determines if it's in stock or if it's committed to an order. So in this case, landscapers use this. It is basically for in-stock product, and the quantity that I'm going to move over there is going to be 25. And again, if I want to put a note or something in there, I can. And just go ahead and change it to the new status, which is going to be in stock. And I'm going to move the product.
Hey, Larry. I'd
Yes.
also like to take time to remind everyone that if they do have questions, to type it into the question section of the GoToWebinar software.
Okay. Well, good. That's a great idea. So if you have any questions, please type into the section on the side, and we'll be very, very happy to accommodate you towards the end of the presentation. We'll probably do that in a few more minutes. All right. So again, as you see, the mobile application is rather intuitive, and you can see where these things come from. Here's their actions that are created on the desktop. As you can see, those same actions are reflective on the mobile application. So there's your receiving, customer pickup, your move, your load, your adjust. So the mobile application and the desktop application mirror each other from purposes of training and purposes of understanding how the application functions. Again, I see some questions are headed into the question box. I thank you all for those. All right, so kind of how do we get there? What caused us to do this? Well, it was actually a company of ours. Part of what we talked about is that we are barcode systems integrators. We also have a GPS fleet tracking solution. That allows us to track vehicles. And one of our clients came to us and said, hey, Larry, we do your GPS tracking. Will you also help us with our inventory? We have an inventory problem. We would like to have inventory by your company. And I said, great. We're a barcode system integrator. We do inventory. And I brought in our basic CAN solution. And it didn't really work for them. They had some uniqueness about the landscaping business that really didn't lend itself to a CAN solution. And so at that point in time, we had to make a decision on this is the time to create this new tailorable solution. So that's what we did. Went out there and created this tailorable solution so we could accommodate not only just a landscape company, but ourselves internally use it, as well as obviously we have other clients using it for a variety of different purposes. So one of the things that I asked for was, he said, I don't want to log out of my existing GPS application to do my inventory application. So what we decided we would come up with was an application unification. So as opposed to having two separate applications, one being inventory and one being GPS tracking, we combine them into one particular screen, which is now going to be referred to more as a platform. So not only can you track your vehicles on the GPS platform, but now from this platform, you just click over to the inventory window. And now your inventory is all part of one particular platform. Again, application unification is kind of one of our keys. That's how we kind of got there. That's just kind of how we've been putting things together. And again, we're really excited about this solution. It does a lot of things for a lot of people. And being that it's designed in a SaaS model, we think it's going to be very affordable and very easy to work with. With that, Woody, do we have any questions that we want to start getting into here before it gets too late?
All right. The first question I have here is talking about the price structure. If someone gets interested in this, what are we talking about in terms of what it would cost, or what kind of options are we looking at here?
Oh, we love customers. This price is always very important in everything we do. And I think that's really where this product really is going to separate itself from the competition. At this point in time, a single user license for one user to have access to the system completely, $75 a month. For a 5-user system, which is 5 users in the system, $125 a month in the SaaS model. We also sell it in increments of 5, 10, and 15, so you can add as many users as you want by buying blocks of licenses. Great question, Woody. Thank you.
Another question is, how long would it take to get started if they were interested?
Yep, another really good question. And that's been kind of something we've worked on quite a bit. So what we've come up with is we come up with a very intuitive questionnaire that allows you to basically help us understand your business. And let me kind of bring that up for you. So here is the questionnaire that we've created. That is an exercise that we go through with all our customers to help us better understand their business. And let me go through it briefly because it's very important. So obviously, general information is just who you are and where you're coming from, how to contact you. And then these questions here lend themselves to really be important. How many physical locations do you have inventory in? How many different items or SKUs does your company have? And again, tell a list of any hardware you may be using or any list of barcodes printers you may currently have in your environment. Because obviously, if we can utilize any of your existing equipment or existing products or services, we would like to do so. Then we get into some of your data communications and how we do your business. As you can see, we talk about you have SQL Server, so obviously we're leading ourselves that we're a Microsoft SQL shop. Again, talk about the third-party hosting, if that's going to be applicable. Do you have accounting software that we need to interface with any level? How do you communicate in your environment, Wi-Fi, Bash, or through a WAN? And then we get into the actual processes. So right in here is for tracking inventory, these are the processes. Are we going to do these things? Are we going to be receiving? Customer returns, picks. And through this section here, we define what these things are to us. Very important. People say, well, what exactly are these things? Well, we help you define those. And then we talk about categories. Categories are the way that we can sort and view data. And how an example of a category we saw here today in the landscape company. They call product bulk. That bulk is mulch, pea gravel, sand, and topsoil. They also have a group which we saw called nursery, which are trees. So that's how they like to categorize their items. So it works for them. Then we talk about location levels. We track the 5 levels in a location. Here's an example. A warehouse, area, row, bin, or shelf. And you can name your locations, and that way they come out into your environment the same way that you're accustomed to. Then through here, we get down into some uniqueness about your items. Let me show you a company that's kind of unique because it's really us, and it's part of the GPS configuration, so bear with me just a second. This particular company here is kind of unique because it's really us. Now, it's so unique that we're to name it uniquely. In the case of this, we have demo GPS inventory we provide our new clients to evaluate our system. And as a result, Jake, who does the demo inventory, and again, this is real granular how he can get, Jake keeps the GPS demo gear in a closet next to his desk locked up. So we want to name it the GPS closet, and then we did. And then how we do things in this particular business is the actions that we do is, in this case, we're not really selling anything here. We're kind of using it as an asset tracking environment. When we receive in items, they require some very specific things. So we receive in a device, and you can see it comes up, and I choose a specific device for the closet and choose an item, and you'll see that the attributes of that receipt immediately become here. So when we receive these items in the GPS world, these things matter to us. It may not matter to you, and the things that you do may not matter to us, but the software allows these subtle differences in the process to be presented so you can capture the data in a fashion that is your business processes, and then again, redisplay that data in a way that you can use it. Using the interactive grid. You want to say, give me this again, pop it up here, and it lists us all our information. So really powerful. Again, I hate to go back to the interactive grid, but it really is, you know, the whole crux of how we're going about our business. Maybe a little long, but I'll go for another question now, Woody.
Next question is, how customizable are the actions?
Well, I wasn't going to go into the deepness of it, but since the question came up, right inside of here is kind of how we create how we do things. So in this case, as you can see right here on my in, I customize my ins this way, and my outs, I don't have an out because I don't sell this particular product, but I have particular moves. So that's where the software is most powerful, is that it's so tailorable that I would be hard-pressed to find a business process that I couldn't map or integrate into our system. That's a great question. Love to understand some of those processes and maybe show you how we can map them out for you in the future. That's a really good question. Thank you.
Next question is, can this be used for manufacturing where the inventory is provided by the customer?
Yes, because again, as we go back to this particular company here, this is a manufacturing company. They manufacture widgets. So absolutely. In this case, we're tracking lot number. If you're tracking serial number or tracking another particular information, the software, again, lends itself to be very tailorable and that's very reflective of your processes. I can show you 3 distinctly different companies, all have distinctly different processes, all have distinctly different names for inventory, but all done under the same product umbrella of the mobile inventory management solution. Hope that helped.
All right, next question is it possible to test the software without paying for it to customize and determine if it's right for my organization?
That's a great question, and well, you know, again, probably I need to, you know, talk to some of the powers that be exactly how we're going to release this, but I would love to spend a time one-on-one and do a deep dive and maybe go through your processes. If you like to fill out a questionnaire, I can show you how the software can be, you know, tailored to meet your needs. Sounds like an interesting opportunity, and just reach out to one of our sales reps or myself, and I'll send you the questionnaire. And I would love to take time. Again, as we discussed, this is a new product, and we're looking for customers. We have it out there in numerous beta sites. It's working successfully, but we love a good challenge. So yes, we would like to see if we can, get the software to look like you, and we'll let you play with it for a little bit of time, and then if it makes sense, we'll turn on the meter. So yes, we'll talk about it.
Can the software export to Excel, or will that be a feature that'll be added in the future?
Really good question. Okay, so back here at the interactive grid, a couple things you see. I had to print the PDF, and I got export to a .csv. Anybody knows I can export to a .csv, that can be opened in an Excel file for viewing purposes. So the answer is yes. So the .csv export tool, we can export to a .csv. That file can be opened up in Excel and viewed. But again, that's no different than we have on the PDF display here, where you can create the PDF document very rapidly, as we discussed. And that basically can be your report as well. So we have a couple ways of doing it, both either through the PDF application where you create your custom form through the interactive grid, or download through .csv and open up in Excel and manipulate the data as you deem most appropriate. Just another touch on, there is an import utility available for bringing in mass quantities of data. That is available as well to load the system. Any other questions, Woody?
I do have a follow-up from earlier. One says, can you show a kitting example?
Yes. Let me see. Yes, if I go into production, I don't know if I have an kitting example in front of me, but that's, as we discussed, part of that production action report. We're doing a backflush. So it'll be a similar function where we basically build that kit, and once that kit is built, we'll backflush those items out just like in a production report. So I have to really play with that a little bit. If you send me an email on your specifics, I'll try to replicate that for you, and maybe I can redisplay that for you. I don't know if I have it right in front of me at the moment, but again, part of the software is to be flexible, is to be able to do things like this. So yes, I would like to take a detailed look at that.
All right, we are approaching our normal closing time, but we do have a couple more questions still coming in, so we're going to go a little over since there is some interest. Next question is, how is the data stored? Is it stored locally or on a cloud storage system?
Currently, we use both. We use third-party products for some of our other solutions that are more mature. This particular product is hosted internally at the moment because we're staying very close to it, but the intention is to have it on a traditional third-party hosted environment going forward.
Another question is, does it integrate to my accounting application or any other applications?
One of the things we had to make a decision on was the flexibility to get it into and out of systems. And by a combination of the .csv and a combination of print to PDF, it gets data out. Now, as I showed you in the questionnaire, there are third-party accounting systems out there that have very nice APIs that we're very familiar with. The one that I know that we'll have available is going to be QuickBooks, because QuickBooks does a really nice job of creating APIs for integrators to integrate their platform. Other ones are going to be considered, and on a custom basis, we can probably communicate with most systems that would allow a file transfer, some sort of a web services or an FTP site, and I'm sure that we can map a data to adhere to most business systems. So it's in there. It can be worked on, but it would be more or less a one-off to an accounting system at this point in time.
All right, another question. After we have the software tailored, is it linked to you, or can we have total ownership without the tether?
Well, it's a hosted model, and again, if you're running your software, I have no intentions of just supporting you. Our model here is to support you. It's your software. You'll have access to it and rights to it. We as a company, you can set the tokens up by the users. We obviously, being the architects, have the system controls of everything. But just like our GPS solution, our yard management solution, our customers run basically on their own for the most part, unless they require support. So now, if you wanted to, I don't know, we really create a model to actually sell the system outright right now. The whole point with the SaaS model is to create something very powerful and spread the cost for many users. So the individual cost, I haven't really put a number on, and I would have to actually sit down and do some more detail if you're looking to purchase the product outright.
All right, the next one, they are a farm, and on the farm, a single product can be sold depending on size, there could be 5 stages for a single product depending on size. I'm guessing they're wondering whether or not one of the categories can be size of a product.
Sure, sure. And again, as you'll see in the example of the USA company, I have different levels. I have different people who have different blue raw materials from different vendors that I have brought in. I'm pretty sure that's something we can accommodate for them. It doesn't sound like it's anything outside of the capacity of the software.
All right, another question is, with the payment model, is the $75 per user referring to building, or is the user per person who will have access to make modifications?
It's both. Okay, initially our intention is that it'll be a $500 one-time setup fee for us to review your documentation and create your first instance. From there, we encourage and prefer that you become as efficient on the tool as possible. It is designed for you to take ownership and make those changes to your ongoing operation. That is part of the overall strategy because people out there are getting more and more capable. We aren't going to fight the device you use. We're not going to fight you working on your own application. We're going to create tools and support you as you go forward. So absolutely, we encourage you to take ownership of your own application.
Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. If you'd like more information on mobile inventory management, please contact Larry or a product specialist here at 1-800-446-1991. Again, thank you very much. Have a great day.